Hello, and welcome to this exclusive APEX interview with Display Interactive, a provider of best-in-class IFE software solutions to commercial aviation. Joining us today from Display Interactive is Chief Commercial Officer Thierry Carmes. Thierry, hi, welcome.
Hi, Maryann. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yourself?
It's a great day. It's a beautiful day in Paris, and very enjoyable.
Excellent, perfect. Thierry, let's dive right in. Why don't you just give us a very quick background on Display Interactive? How did the company form, and what is the suite of products and services that you're offering now?
Okay. Display has been in operations for the last 13 years, and fully dedicated to IFE and connectivity for the past 7 years. We operate basically two solutions. One for commercial aviation called wireless IFE, and the second one for business aviation called Display Executive.
Okay. Obviously, we are going through a pandemic right now. We have been for the better part of this year. So can you tell us a little bit about how that's affected your company, your operations, your strategy, your customers?
Well, this crisis is certainly the most intense that the industry has faced in its history. And Display has seen some of its customers disappearing. I'm thinking especially about Thomas Cook, for instance. And we basically have supported our customers in their operations. The key thing is about flexibility, is about cutting down or canceling variable cost, which our solution allows us to do. It was also the occasion during this pandemic to improve our offering to make sure that they will support, the recovery phase, which is initiating now. During this period, we have delivered some aircraft, especially in the business aviation sector. We have closed some deals for airline programs and with a partnership agreement in the field of connectivity. And we have trying to do our best to prepare for the recovery.
Wow, it sounds like you've been very busy and had a few successes as well during this time, so that's really encouraging to hear.
Definitely. It's a good signal, and we see today that airlines, even if they face huge issues, they are trying to, reinvent themselves, to embrace new technologies. I'm thinking typically about air to ground, about digitalization for process, for duty free, and so on. And this is really a positive signal for our industry on the longer term.
So this kind of leads me right into my next question about the growing importance of ancillary revenue. We all know that is becoming more and more of a focus, and that connectivity is just enabling loads of new ways to generate ancillary revenue and to create engagement. So can you tell us what you're doing in that department with your engagement platform?
Sure. I would say that the engagement platform and the ancillaries is one thing, but there is another key component here, which is, I would say, the portal interface itself. Because if it's not appealing to your passengers, if it's not enticing, then there is no click to actions, there is no engagement. So it's really about the interface. And today, our wireless IFE solution, as well as the Display Executive solutions, provide, best of class interfaces. Really able to compare with the ground digital services, and inspired from the stories, the infinite loop, and so on. So it's really something which is a key asset today of Display. Now for the partnership itself and the ancillaries, there are so many, but we start obviously with the airline services for in-flight services and ground services. We stretch this, and this is also absolutely important for our customers to expand their position in the value chain, to do a bit further, including airport services, destination services, obviously, and possibly, thanks to trolley virtualization, expanding their reach in terms of e-commerce. And this is really the key things here. So today, these ancillaries and connectivity support, the process for airline digitalization in most of the in-flight segment.
Okay, and you mentioned some partnerships in there that are enabling some of the things that you're launching. Can you discuss what some of your key partnerships have been throughout the last year or so?
So Maryann, I might maybe surprise you, but I think that the more important partnership we can drive in this industry is really with airlines themselves. And this is certainly where it's the more important one. There is no engagement platform, there is no IFET project which can be successful without this partnership with the airline. So we have implemented a methodology for all the design phase of our programs, which includes not only the, I would say, the design, the graphical design, the functional, the features list, and so on, the workflows in operation, and obviously the business case. And all these components are developed, co-developed with the airline experts. So that's one thing. Then we have the third-party partnership, and this includes basically the major players in our field. So based on what we said just before, these include obviously the in-flight connectivity providers in both SATCOM and air-to-ground technologies. These include OTT services for entertainment and information, and this includes obviously the major players in the travel value chain. So it's no secret, we have agreements in place with Booking.com, with TripAdvisor.com, with Airbnb, with Amazon, and a couple of others. So that's really about the partnership approach that we developed.
And these partnerships are really helping you get loads of content with which to engage the user, isn't it? Because if you want the user to have this infinity loop of content so that it's very sticky and they never leave the environment, you need a lot of content.
Yes and no. Surprisingly enough, Maryann, I would say that the content part, it started with the content, entertainment, the E of entertainment, being the most important part. But today, what we see is really something where the airline becomes more like a digital channel, opening its passengers and customers and affiliate members to the exposition of other services, not only content. So yes, there will be obviously video content, there will be information content, but content is also everything from advertising, sponsoring, e-commerce offerings, services, interactions with the airline, and this is really the meaning of an engagement platform.
All right, and then finally, Thierry, is there just any message that you would like to give to any prospective airline customers who may be watching this video or other attendees at the virtual expo?
Display is here. Display is improving its offering to benefit to all of you and to our industry on a more general basis. We don't communicate on a program until they are launched. That's our policy, so stay tuned for Q1 and Q2 next year, where there will be some nice announcements. And I would like also to mention that, earlier this year in March, and actually that was during the lockdown in France, we closed an equity deal with Eclipse Global Connectivity. And this has already resulted into lots of synergies, especially when we collaborate with Eclipse and their STC branch called Eclipse Techniques for end-to-end solutions. We are now able to provide, the hardware, the STC under FAA, EASA, CAAC, and others, and to design the software and to operate it on behalf of our customers. And that's a single, basically, SLA. So there are major benefits out of it in terms of cost, in terms of delays, and in terms of rollout.
Excellent. Well, that's all the time we have for this interview. So thank you so much for joining us, Thierry.
Thank you, Maryann.
Wishing you all the best with the rest of the year.
And a very successful FTA APEX Virtual Expo.